All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Makakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the elder bishops of great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, to the men on the highways and the byways that are pushing out this word in truth and sincerity, and to the remnant men, women, and children of the elect. To you all, I say Shalom. My name is Ahmawan, Ahyash, and I'm back with another lesson through the pound spirit. How about Shemal Shai? Lord willing, this is edifying. And the past few days, the world has been reacting to, the strikes, which initially started from Israel, the missile strikes from Israel to Iran, and then the retaliation from Iran, and these things are just taking place, the back and forth, everything that's going on, man. And these are all of the things that the prophets and the men of the Lord have been prophesying about for a long time. It's exciting times that we're in terms of prophecy, in terms of the will of the Lord being done, and us getting out of here. These I just wanted to note and point out during this lesson, man. These are some dangerous times. All right, these are some some dangerous times ahead of us. But, as prophecy continues to come to pass, although it's dangerous, although there's some perilous times ahead of us, this is also exciting times. Okay, and this is great news for the elect. All right, and our job as the servants of the Lord are to first warn so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans who make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, to warn our people of the impending danger. All right, to get, send them the warning to get right with Yahweh by Shemal Shai. Turn, take heed to the warning, take heed to prophecy, and be in the spirit of repentance. And get yourselves ready for, the times that are coming, because getting right with the Lord is what's going to have you, is what's going to deliver you from the times that are coming, the events, the judgments from on high. This is an example of it. I have this video pulled up, and I want to touch on a couple of little very short videos that I have just to illustrate how dangerous the times are, to show that the scriptures are true. All right. The scriptures are really all you need. The Holy Bible, man, the word of Yahweh by Shemal Shai is all you need when it comes to your answers. Okay. And in the scriptures, the Bible is being preached by the Lord's servants, the prophets at this time. So it would behoove you to, take heed and lock into what, the message that the Lord is delivering through his servants. All right. It's time to, really detach from this world, man. Because, look, man, the world has shown itself. All right. I don't know how much more proof, how much evidence that you need to understand that this world is evil, is wicked, and the current rulership is on its way out. Everything points to that, So, at the end of the day, it's really just time to detach, because the prophecies are speaking. Okay, and this is example. All right, there's some dangerous times coming. This is an example. I just want to play it just to show you, just to show, what's happening. All right, real quick.
Okay, this is some short-range systems. Stay here, Yaniv. Pull out a little bit. Okay, there's just a massive amount of fire coming to Tel Aviv right now. Yaniv, get ready to pull it off the stick. Get off the sticks. All right, let's go. Time to go. Okay. Guys, come on, everyone move. Everyone move now. Stay with us, stay with us. Pick up the gear. Let's go.
Amen. And Kal Halal Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Makakwadash. This is a video of an Iranian missile hitting Tel Aviv as Fox crew runs for cover. All right. So these are the times that when missiles are being shot off, the Lord will put the spirit on these news stations to cover and give us details and give us videos like this and others to really just show what's happening. All right. Because this is going to directly line up with prophecy. Okay. And it's for the sake of the elect. But, the Lord will give us these videos and these visions and these the understanding of His word, so we can prophesy and teach and give the warning unto His elect. You know what I mean? But that goes to show, you got a Fox News crew who's close to the action. All right, and that's a dangerous thing, man. Sometimes we take for granted how crazy something like that could be. Just imagine, man, you was just imagine you was in your house and you could actually see missiles flying overhead that was going to drop off in the next town or the next city. That was seconds away from you, seconds away from dropping in the next city or the next town. Just think about that, man. And at the end of the day, that's what's coming here to America. That's what's coming here to Babylon the Great. All these wars and rumors of war, man. Let me just get this real quick. Let me. 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1 says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." Okay, then we're in the last days. Make no mistake about it. We're in the last days of the last days, man. Esau's rulership, the so-called white man, his rulership is on the way out. This kingdom known as America, Babylon the Great, is on its way out. And these are the last days. And in the last days, we'll see perilous times. We'll see some dangerous, unprecedented times that will take place, and nothing will turn back the Lord's prophecies. Nothing. Regardless of what you see, regardless of what you hear, regardless of what authority gets on TV and tries to tell you, because there's a lot of propaganda out there that tries to steer the narrative in a direction where they try to upset the prophecy, so to speak. They try to, control the narrative to either make it seem like they got things under control. They, and when I say they, I mean America, Babylon the Great, the ruling powers of, because they, all of these news stations are already bought and paid off. So everybody's just trying to steer the narrative in their direction to fit their agenda. We understand what it's about. But again, it's the Spirit of the Lord that's going to have them report on certain things that we can get the information and we can link it with prophecy. At the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters. To hell with these people and the narrative. We know the narrative. The narrative is the Lord's. Okay? That's the only narrative that matters. Making sure we understand what the will of the Lord is. All right, because we don't need to know every little detail of what Esau's thinking and how he's moving and everything. We know there's a lot of false flag events. We know that they try to, make things seem, the way they are. Things aren't the way they make it seem. We understand what Esau is. He's the master deceiver, right? So again, but that's the Lord giving us the eyes to see and the ears to hear, the spirit to understand who we're dealing with. The Esau, Edom, the devil. All right. But at the end of the day, we know we're in the last days because prophecy say so. We know we're in the last days because the signs that the Lord told us to watch out for, they say so. All right? And we're not going to be fooled. We're not going to be deceived by Esau's propaganda, his news machine, okay? His ability to manipulate and move things in a certain direction. You can't deceive the Lord's elect, right? You could deceive the rest of the world because they don't know any better, and they've been blinded. All right, they've been blinded. They don't have the eyesight to understand who they're dealing with. Esau, Edom. They don't have the eyesight to understand that this is prophets. This is prophetic. All right. They just gonna think it's happenstance, and you know what? They're gonna have that mentality that, look, this stuff will play out. We've seen missiles before. We've seen people, nations attack another nation before. This will all work itself out and it'll be all good. That's the mind frame of the average American, so-called American. All right, but we're not in those times, man. All right, we're in the time of war. Scriptures say that in Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. There's a time and a season for everything under the sun, and we just happen to be in a time of war. All right. Let me get that real. Matthew 24 and verse 6. And it reads, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." All right, so these are the wars and the rumors of wars that we are witnessing. And we've been witnessing and hearing the wars and rumors of war for a while now. This ain't the beginning of that. All right. All right, it says, "For all these things must come to pass." All these things must come to pass. The wars and the rumors of wars that will escalate into wherever we see the proxy wars. We see everything that lead up into these wars, the reasons why these wars happen. You know, we're privileged to understand, you know, what's happening. All right, we understand that the end is not yet. Why does it say the end is not yet? Because there's other prophecies that has to come to pass. Right. There's other things that have to happen before the world's 3rd war, which is going to end in nuclear missiles being shot off. We understand that things have to happen before that. Jacob's trouble, you know, the hour temptation, the MOTB, you know, some things that need to happen before that. All right. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." All right. So these are the beginning of the sorrows that we're seeing, that we're witnessing, and through the Spirit, the Lord is just showing us, hey, I'm close, I'm near. All right. And it's a beautiful thing. So like I said, and like the title of his lesson is, you know, rumors of war equals great news for the elect. All right. Great news for the elect, because us hopeful members of the elect, we want out of here, man. We want to see this place destroyed. We want to see these nukes fly off. We want to see prophecy come to pass. We want the hour of temptation. We want the MOTB to come, because we want out of this place, man. It's the same old, same old, same old. All right, and we want it done. We want it over with. All right, I got another little short to play. This is from Al Jazeera. Okay, and the title of it is "Second Wave of Iranian Missiles Hit." This was 19 hours ago. Check this out. Look at all the missiles, bro.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, and there you have it. And there you have it, right? Just go back to it, and there you have it, you know. And the guy in the video was saying Allahu Akbar. Well, Allah ain't gonna save you, right? Allah don't have it. Hey, this ain't got nothing to do with Allah, all right? Those false gods, those dumb idols of wood and stone, they will not be able to save you in these moments. This is it. Is over. All right, you know. But the point is, Iran has sent back some missiles, and there was a narrative out there that, you know, Israel had intercepted all the missiles that came in this direction. Now you know that ain't true, right? And we're seeing it. The last little video I played, you know, Tel Aviv is getting touched up as well. All right. So look, man, these are just the times that we're in, and this has to come to pass, man. At the end of the day, these prophecies have to come to pass. All right. I saw this article here, yeah. But because I couldn't, I'm not subscribed to this website. It doesn't let me actually read into it because you have to subscribe. But the title says enough for me. This is from Haaretz.com. It said in Israel News, Netanyahu is counting on Trump to finish what Israel started in Iran. Okay, Netanyahu is counting on Trump and the United States of America, Babylon the Great, to finish what Israel started in Iran. All right, so what does that make you think about, right? With Israel and the United States being such close allies, right? The scripture say in Jeremiah 49:20, I'll just read it real quick, and you should be familiar with this because this is the time that we're in. Jeremiah 49:20, it says, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi, that he hath taken against Edom and his purposes, that he hath purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Okay, surely he shall make them their habitations desolate with them. All right, so at the end of the day, the counsel of the Lord says, that the purpose that he has taken against Edom, okay, and the least of the flock of the Edomites are those small hats, Amalek, out in the Holy Land of Israel, okay, they shall draw them out. They shall draw out the United States, Babylon the Great, which lines up with this, right? Netanyahu is counting on Trump to finish what Israel started in Iran. These two are going to the United States is going to back up Israel no matter what. All right. No matter what Trump says or no matter what politicians say, they may or may not. We're going to see what happens. No, that's not what's going down. All right. When Israel goes to war, the United States will go to war. Okay. This is the least of the flock drawing out America, drawing out Babylon the Great. Okay. And it says, surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Okay. So the end all be all is going to be when this war really, really pops off, America's going to be right in the middle of it. And the Lord is going to make their habitations desolate. Okay. Kal Halal Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi for that. So the least of the flocks shall draw them out is what you think of when you see a headline like this, right? Netanyahu was counting on Trump to finish with Israel. So of course he's counting on him because prophecy says so. Okay? Because prophecy, not because he said so, but because prophecy says so. All right, and at the end of the day, these alliances are all set up by Yahweh Bashim Shai, and they're going to play out just the way the Lord purposed it, all right? That's why it says, and his purpose is that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman, all right? At the end of the day, there's no turning back those nuclear missiles when they get shot off, all right? There will be no turning back of those missiles at the end. That's just it, all right? I just had a couple more verses real quick. Oh, let me get this. It says, Trump says it's possible U.S. gets involved. This is what I wanted to mention. ABC News. This is from today, June 15th. It says, Trump says, Sunday, June 15th. Trump says it's possible, right? And we all know that's BS, man. It's possible. Come on, man. Come on, man. Who you trying to fool? Trump says it's possible U.S. gets involved in Israel-Iran conflict, all right? It says President Trump says Sunday the United States is not involved in Israel's military strikes in Iran, but it's possible we could get involved. That comes out the reports that Israel had urged the U.S. to join a conflict with Iran to eliminate its nuclear program. And that's what it's about. You know, the reason why Israel struck initially, from what they say, from what the news report is, that they've gathered or obtained too many fissile material, which is used to, create nuclear weapons, in a nutshell. And that nuclear program, you know, Iran ain't really don't give a damn. Look, man, they don't care what nobody said. They gonna have their nukes. They gonna be ready for when that war pops off. For when the third was from World War III, they gonna be ready when World War III pops off. All right, they ain't finna be telling Iran that they not gonna have nukes. That's craziness. All right, and if this is your way of justifying, bombing Iran, then hey, so be it. We don't care what the reason is. All right, as long as it pops off. Like, we don't care about all the inner details. You know, some things we have to see and report and make it make sense for the elect. But at the end of the day, these nations will be gathered in the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahawashi, okay, so that World War III can take place. That's what's important. Nothing more, nothing less, man. Let me get Jeremiah 50. Because at the end of the day, guess what? All right, guess what? This is all going to result in Babylon the Great being destroyed. That's what we care about. The prophecies concerning Babylon the Great. Right, this evil, wicked kingdom, and what the Lord has purposed according to this place. Jeremiah 50:8. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of Chaldeans and be as the he goes before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, America, an assembly of great nations from the north country. Okay, because guess what? Guess who's going to get involved in this? Because Russia already said to the United States, hey man, don't put your nose where it ain't got no business being in. Don't leave that conflict to Israel and Iran. All right, mind your business. Okay, mind your business. But guess what? The United States don't know how to mind their business. All right, they gotta be in the middle. They got and then they're steering things. Right, they're behind all of the chaos in the. This is why they've had their hand in the whole Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, servicing them, giving them aid, giving them weapons. Their filthy paws got to be everywhere. It says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrow shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is going to culminate into missiles being shot off over here to America, Babylon the Great, to be absolutely destroyed and absolutely obliterated, because the Lord will cause an assembly of great nations to come up against this place. All right, there's nothing stopping those nuclear missiles from being set off. Nothing. All right, and we're seeing it. These some dangerous, perilous times that we're in, but again, it means salvation for the elect. It's great news for the elect. It's terrible news for the rest of the world, because you see the reaction to it. You see the reaction to these missile strikes, and everybody's panicking on these news stations. You got Americans that people are going crazy of these ICE raids, and it's resulting in protests and everything, and it's all happening according to scripture. All right, so we're not panicking. We're being comforted by these things, because this is showing us that we're at the end. All right. Hey man, so to hell with Babylon the Great, to hell with Israel, to hell with Iran, Russia, China, all of these, to hell with them. Okay, we're waiting for Yahawashi to return and deliver his elect, and that's what this is all about. So this is great news for the elect. All right, so with that, I hope you were edified. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the elder bishops, great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.